Right, so welcome back to another video on this channel, another tier list video to be bringing you this fine evening. You know the drill at this stage, ranking Premier League goalkeepers from best to worst. Without further ado, we'll just get straight into it, so yeah, let's go. So yeah, we're going to start off of course with the tiers in this video. Top of the list is elite level, then we have very bloody good, then we have quality, decent and not quite there for goalkeepers who just aren't quite there in terms of the comparison to other goalkeepers in this list, because I actually believe that the level of Premier League goalkeepers now is very high, and I actually don't think there's any poor goalkeepers, so to speak, in the Premier League right now. So that's why we've gone for not quite there instead of, like, you know, not good enough or whatever as the bottom category. But enough with the jibber jabber, we're going to get into it straight away, starting off in alphabetical order, which does mean we have Aaron Ramsdale of Arsenal first in the list, and we're going to put him in very bloody good because I think he's a very bloody good goalkeeper for this level. I think his ability with the ball at his feet in terms of his distribution is absolutely top notch, which I think is probably arguably more important than his actual shot stopping ability at the elite level for elite Premier League clubs. And don't get me wrong, I think his ability in terms of shot stopping is very underrated as well. I think one thing that's very underrated with Ramsdale is there's quite a lack of errors in terms of, you know, other goalkeepers in comparison in the Premier League. And yeah, obviously he's a young goalkeeper as well, English. I don't think it's very long till he's England's #1, because if they, you know, want to play a progressive style of football, he is perfect for that. And yeah, I think he's a very bloody good goalkeeper, and I think that he does have potential, if he keeps going the way he's going, to be in elite level at some stage in the near future. Next up, we're going to go with Emi Martinez, the World Cup winning goalkeeper of the tournament actually at the World Cup. I'm going to put him alongside Ramsdale in the second tier in very bloody good. There was actually a temptation to put him in elite level, especially after his performances for Argentina at the World Cup, but I'm going to put him in there for now at least. And yeah, I really rate Emi Martinez. I think first of all his ability on the ball is not the worst, to be fair, but I think his shot stopping ability is absolutely top notch. I think for his stature he makes some absolutely brilliant saves, he gets across his goal line brilliantly. I think one thing with Martinez that's really underrated as well is his ability to claim crosses. He's very commanding in his own box, and yeah, I just think Martinez is a really good goalkeeper, hence why he is a World Cup winning goalkeeper, you know, less than 2 months ago. So yeah, Martinez is going in very bloody good. Now we move on to Neto of Bournemouth. I'm going to put him in decent because I actually think that Neto has been quite decent for Bournemouth this season. He has one of the most saves in the league in comparison to all the other goalkeepers in this league. He has a very good, you know, save percentage ratio, which is obviously very important given the amount of shots he does face as Bournemouth goalkeeper, because they face quite a bit of shots. And yeah, he's not really let Bournemouth down whatsoever this season, not really many outstanding errors, is a good shot stopper, not too bad in the ball for what they need at this level, and yeah, I think he's a decent Premier League level goalkeeper. Next up we have David Raya. Now this one might surprise you, but I really like David Raya. I think he's a top quality goalkeeper. I'm putting him in very bloody good, and to be honest, I would take him as a Chelsea fan at Chelsea to replace Kepa potentially in the summer if we do go and replace Kepa. I think for a very small goalkeeper, he gets across his goal line very well. He's a very good shot stopper. I think his throwing and kicking ability is absolutely top notch, and especially in a team like Brentford who are very direct, his, you know, range of passing, long range, is extremely good. And yeah, I think Raya is one of the most consistent and one of the most reliable goalkeepers in the Premier League at this level, and I think he is a very bloody good goalkeeper. Next up we're going with another Chelsea linked goalkeeper. Ironically, we're going with Robert Sanchez, and I was tempted to put him in very bloody good alongside Raya, but I'm going to put him in quality simply because I think he's just a little bit behind Raya in the quality department of goalkeepers at this moment in time, but I do think he has a lot of potential to be alongside those goalkeepers in very bloody good in the future. I think his passing range is very good for a goalkeeper, obviously, which, you know, suits Brighton down to the ground because they do play an on-the-ball style of football under Roberto De Zerbi. The only reason he's probably in quality instead of very bloody good is because he is prone to a mistake, and I think in terms of his shot-stopping ability, he could maybe be a little bit better, even though I think he's, you know, very good with his hands, of course. But there's definitely room to improve for Robert Sanchez. He's a very young goalkeeper, considering, you know, goalkeepers do kind of hit their prime later than outfield players do, and I think that at some stage in the future, he very much could be, you know, moving up a tier there. But for now, I'm putting him in quality, which even still feels a little bit harsh, to be fair, because I do rate Robert Sanchez, but I'm going to put him there for now. Next up, we have my very own Kepa Arrizabalaga. I'm going to put him in very bloody good because I do think he is a quite good goalkeeper. He has the highest save percentage ratio in the Premier League as of time of this recording, and yep, he's coming to Chelsea this season given Edouard Mendy's poor form. I think he's really made the position his own, and to be honest, is making us question whether we actually need to replace him in the summer, which is, you know, kudos to him, to be honest. And yep, he's been reliable this season. He's made some very good saves. He's very good in the ball. I mean, he made one of the best saves I've ever seen against Aston Villa away earlier on in the season. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It was just absolutely unbelievable. You'll know which one I'm talking about when you see it. And even though he's not perfect, he does make mistakes every now and then, and I think that sometimes he is susceptible to errors. I think he is a very good goalkeeper for this level and has turned his form around after he was essentially a meme in you know, the 2019-20 season under Frank Lampard. So yeah, I'm putting Kepa in very bloody good. Next up, we'll go with Vicente Guaita. Pretty easy one. He's going in decent. he's just a solid level goalkeeper. He's, you know, really old now. I think he's 36, 37, but still going strong as Crystal Palace's number one, keeping Sam Johnstone out of the team. And look, he's just the epitome of a solid 7 out of 10 every single week. His shot stopping ability is obviously decent, and even though he's prone to mistakes every now and then, or shots that you could maybe say he could do better with, and he's not perfect with his feet by any stretch of imagination, he's still a solid goalkeeper, and that's why I think he's probably too good to be a not quite there, and I think I will put him in decent because he's just the epitome of a decent level Premier League goalkeeper. Next up we have Jordan Pickford. He's going in quality. I don't think he's good enough quite yet to be in very bloody good, but I do think he is a quality goalkeeper at this level, hence why he's England's number one right now. I think he's probably got the best, you know, kick in terms of goalkeepers in the Premier League. I think he averages the highest distance for a goal kick in the Premier League this season. I think his range for his kicking is absolutely brilliant, which will suit Sean Dyche down to the ground with someone like Calvert-Lewin up front. And I do think he is a good quality shot stopper, even though he does, you know, tend to over-dramatise things every now and then. I do think he is a quality goalkeeper in the Premier League, and that's why I've put him in quality. And now we have Bernd Leno also going in the third tier in quality, because I do think he is a good goalkeeper. He's proved that he is of use still in the Premier League after, you know, getting replaced by Ramsdale in the Arsenal squad last season. And yet, to be fair, he's actually been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League this season. His save percentage ratio is very, very high in comparison to other goalkeepers. And yeah, he's been a crucial part in this Fulham team, who are doing really, really well with Marco Silva this season. I think his ability on the ball definitely suits Marco Silva's style of play in terms of he is, you know, quality on the ball. And his shot stopping ability as well is very good. He does make a lot of good saves at a lot of occasions. So yeah, I think Bernd Leno deserves to be in quality. Now, Illan Meslier, he's going in decent because I actually do rate Meslier. I think he has a lot of potential. Obviously, he's extremely young with a lot of potential to improve in the future. He has cut out a little bit of his, you know, ability for errors, because if you do remember, even a year or two ago, he was making quite a few mistakes with the ball at his feet. But he's cut that out. He's become more efficient on the ball in terms of, you know, distribution of the ball with his feet, and yeah, is quite a decent shot stopper and is extremely tall, which obviously plays into his hands as well. So yeah, I think Meslier is a decent Premier League goalkeeper, and of course is very young, so has room to improve. Now, Danny Ward, unfortunately the first one going in not quite there. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. He has one of the lowest save percentage ratios in the Premier League, and look, he was getting absolute abuse at the start of the season because he started off the season with Leicester horrendously, and yeah, he has picked it up a little bit and gotten a little bit more stable, but even still, in terms of the comparison to other goalkeepers in the Premier League, especially the ones above him in this list, I don't think he's quite there in terms of quality in comparison to the other goalkeepers, so that's why I've put him in the category he's in. Now we move on to Alisson Becker, the first one going at the other end of the spectrum in elite level, because I think Alisson is a world-class goalkeeper. He's definitely top 3 goalkeepers in the world. I think his ability to deal with one-on-ones is probably the best in the world by some distance. His record with one-on-ones in terms of saving them is an absolute joke, and that's not to downplay the fact as well that with the ball at his feet, he is absolutely world-class in terms of his distribution, which, like I alluded to earlier, is probably more important than his shot-stopping ability. And yep, he's one of the most reliable and one of the most stable goalkeepers in the world of football, and that's why I think he's world-class and he is elite level, and he is the best goalkeeper in the Premier League in my opinion. Now we move on to Ederson, another one like Alisson. He's going in elite level now. He does divide opinion because I know there's a lot of shots that he could maybe do better with, and his save percentage ratio is actually quite low, to be fair, so maybe I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but I just think his ability on the ball for the way Man City want to play is world-class, and it's so important to them, because with the way Pep Guardiola sets up this Man City team, the goalkeeper essentially needs to be an 11th outfield player, and that's exactly what Ederson does and gives you in abundance. And yeah, he makes the odd mistake. Yeah, there's the odd shot that maybe he should save, but simply by virtue of the fact that City don't concede a lot of shots given their style of play, I'm going to let him off because I don't think that it's as crucial in terms of, you know, in comparison to other goalkeepers maybe in this list. And yeah, it's just a shift in the role of the goalkeeper in the modern day game that has made Ederson an elite level goalkeeper in the Premier League because of his ability on the ball, like I said. Now, David De Gea, he's going in very bloody good now. Obviously, a few years ago, he would have been in elite level, no doubt. He was the best goalkeeper in the world at one point, but he has declined a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, and even though he's kind of cut out his mistakes a little bit, because 2 or 3 years ago he was making mistakes on pretty much a weekly basis, to be fair, I think he's very suspect in terms of his ability on the ball. There's a lot of turnovers that opposition teams have because of him being sloppy in possession, but I think his shot stopping ability overall, in terms of how, you know, stable he can be between the sticks, in terms of the saves he makes and, you know, points he digs out United, I think that kind of makes up for it, and that's why I think he's in very bloody good. There was a temptation to maybe actually downgrade him and put him in quality, but I just think that he's still a decent level goalkeeper, and I do think that he does probably belong in that category in comparison to the goalkeepers in quality. So yeah, De Gea's going in very bloody good. Now we have Nick Pope. Now this might be one that looks completely wrong, but I'm putting Nick Pope, believe it or not, in elite level. I think Nick Pope is the best shot stopper in the Premier League. He's got one of the highest save percentage ratios out of the goalkeepers in the Premier League. He's got the most clean sheets this season in the Premier League, and has been a monumental factor in how good Newcastle have been this season defensively. They've been the best team in the Premier League by some distance defensively this season, and I think Nick Pope obviously has been been a massive impact on that. In terms of his frame, he just covers up so much of the goal. His reflexes for someone who looks a bit gangly in fairness, I think is absolutely quality, and yeah, I think he's a world-class shot stopper. The only thing that probably lets him down in playing for an elite level club in the future, a possession-based elite level club that is anyway, is his ability on the ball, which, you know, is quite suspect to be fair. But in terms of his shot stopping ability, that's all Newcastle care about really. I think he is elite level, and yeah, like I said, I reiterate once again, I think he is the best shot stopper in the Premier League. Now, next up, we're going with Dean Henderson. Now, it may be controversial because, of course, Keylor Navas is in goal for them now, but he's only played 2 games, so I'm just going to go with Dean Henderson, who has played the majority of this season. He's going to go in quality because I do think he is a quality level goalkeeper in comparison to the other goalkeepers in this list. His record of saving penalties is absolutely top quality. I think his shot stopping ability is brilliant. I think there's a hint of suspect in terms of his ability on the ball, which is probably why he won't be Man United's number 1 anytime soon, because they do need a number 1 who is essentially, you know, perfect in terms of his distribution of the ball with his feet. But I think Dean Henderson and Nottingham Forest is a perfect fit. I think he, you know, perfectly suits them in terms of the fact he is a good shot stopper. His ability on the ball isn't atrocious, but it's not elite level, as I said. And yeah, overall, he's a young goalkeeper. He has potential to improve, and overall is going in quality because I do think he is a very good goalkeeper. Now we move on to our very own Gavin Bazunu. Now, this one might cause a bit of controversy, but I'm going to put him in not quite there because, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Gavin Bazunu, and to be honest, I think he has a lot of potential to be a quality goalkeeper at this level in the future. But he has been sold out to dry this season by Southampton, and you know, the amount of shots they face, his save percentage ratio is kind of okay, but I do think he has struggled this season, and I do think there has been a few mistakes there. There has been a little bit of, you know, inexperience showed in his game at Southampton this season. There has been a few shots as well that I've seen that he maybe could have done better with. And look, just for this moment in time right now, he's going and not quite there, but I can assure you, as an Irish supporter, I've watched Gavin Bazunu play plenty of times for the Irish national team, and this guy will 100% be higher in the list as the years go on, and yeah, I think he will be a quality goalkeeper, but for now, he's in not quite there. Now, Hugo Lloris, probably the most controversial take in this video, or maybe not, depending on what you think, but I'm going to put Lloris in quality. Now, maybe it's controversial, but I just think Lloris, in, you know, years gone by, he'd 100% be elite level probably. He was a world-class goalkeeper, you know, many years ago, but I think in the last year or two, he's really deteriorated. He makes too many mistakes. His ability on the ball for an elite level goalkeeper, which is what Spurs need to be fair at this level, is absolutely horrendous. I just think he's past it for a team that want to be at the elite level right now in terms of his distribution, in terms of the fact he makes one too many mistakes, and that's why I've put him in quality. Maybe controversial, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you disagree with that, because I'm sure a lot of you will. Now, second to last, the penultimate one, Lucas Fabianski. He's going in decent because even though he's, what, 36, 37, he's still having a solid little season for West Ham, keeping Alphonse Areola out of the team for now. And yep, his save percentage in the Premier League is quite decent, to be fair, which is one of the main reasons why I've put him there instead of not quite there, because Fabianski, he's been a quality goalkeeper over the years for, you know, Swansea and now for West Ham. Even still at this level, he is just being a solid 7 out of 10 goalkeeper, very similar to Guaita in that stage in terms of the fact there are 2 veterans that are still doing the business at a certain level. And yeah, that's why I've put him in decent, because I think he's just the epitome once again of a decent level goalkeeper. And the final one, Jose Sa of Wolverhampton Wanderers, completing the quality section, because yeah, last season especially, he was absolutely brilliant for Wolves. I think he was probably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League last season. He hasn't quite been the same this season. His save percentage ratio is nowhere near what it was last season for Wolves, I know that for a fact, but he's still a solid goalkeeper, makes some decent saves. His ability on the ball is, you know, competent, to be fair. So yeah, I think Jose Sa is a quality goalkeeper for this level, and I think is probably on par with a lot of the goalkeepers I've put in that tier as well. So Jose Sa completes the tier list and it goes into quality. So yeah, there is the tier list as you can see on your screen. Done, finito, completed. Let me know in the comment section below if you disagree with any of the selections I've gone for in this video. I'm sure there will be one or two, as there usually is. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. It would be massively appreciated as per usual, and also if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would also be massively appreciated. We are looking to hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel as soon as we possibly can. Yep, any of you that do hit that subscribe button would be massively helping me get there as soon as possible. And yep, I'll see you guys in my next video. Leave a comment down below what tier list you want to see me do next, and yep, I'll see you guys in my next video.